Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
This is Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca, and these are 10 mistakes that first-time cruisers make. Jenny, it wasn't that long ago that you and I were first-time cruisers, just a mere, 13, 14 months ago.
Yeah.
And we've been on a few cruises since then, and of course, we have the wealth of resources that is the Lido Loca cruising community. And so we're here to talk about 10 mistakes that first-time cruisers often make.
That's right.
We actually have 12. It's a bonus. Make sure you stay till the end to get the last two. Don't leave at 10. There's 12, but we'll call it 10.
We'll call it 10.
So first, we tried to order it in a way that makes sense. Some things some mistakes that are made before you even get on the cruise ship, and then some mistakes that happen once you get on the cruise ship.
That's right.
All right, Jenny. So what is the first mistake that new cruisers often make?
They overpack.
Did we overpack?
We overpacked.
I think it's pretty common, right?
I think it's a common, not mistake, but just a common thing.
What do you have a tip for how to make sure you're not overpacking?
Go on your first cruise. And then you kind of just know what you're going to need, what you're not going to need, what you could have probably done without. And then, of course, now, we make lists and we check it twice and we don't overpack anymore.
Yeah, I think that is really the best advice. We get asked that a lot. How do I make sure that I'm not overpacking? I think as a first-time cruiser, you should take everything that you think you're going to need, and it becomes pretty obvious what you don't need.
That's right.
Try your best. I would say in the clothing department, take at least one or two outfits out, and you're probably going to be okay.
That's right. All right, Tony. What is the number 2 mistake that first-time cruisers make?
The number 2 mistake that first-time cruisers often make is they don't pre-book anything. What I didn't realize the first time we cruised is that I could prepay for my internet, I could pre-book excursions, I could prepay for the water to be sent to my room, I could prepay for a spa treatment, I could pre-book and prepay for everything, and you know what the advantage of that is, Jenny?
What's that, Tony?
It's cheaper.
That's right.
Just a quick example, the internet, we use the social media package. It is $5 a day if you book it when you get on the cruise. If you pre-book it, it's only $4 a day. So on a 7-day cruise, you're going to save yourself $7 right there. All right, Jenny, what is the number 3 mistake that first-time cruisers often make?
They don't leave enough time when they're traveling to and from the port.
What does that mean?
That means that they will book their flight in before the cruise the same day the cruise is leaving.
My goodness. I know on our first cruise on the Carnival Fantasy, we were on board eating a guy's burger, looking at Facebook, and we saw somebody that was like 8 hours away. Like, I just started driving. 8 hours is an exaggeration, but it was like 4 hours away, and they were just hauling it to try to make it to win the cruise before the cruise left. So fortunately on that one, that cruise didn't leave on time. So, and then also, like you said, sometimes people will book their flight super early on the day they get back, and they can't get off the ship for their flight.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people are booking that flight home at like 11 in the morning.
It's crazy.
That's kind of scary.
Leave yourself plenty of time on both ends. You never know what's going to happen, especially if you're flying in. I would say fly in the day before to take any kind of delays or mechanical difficulty, all that out of the way. And even if you're driving, I say if it's more than like 3 or 4 hours, come on in the day before. But
absolutely.
I know sometimes people's schedules don't permit that, and it can be an adrenaline rush to drop the pedal and try to get to the cruise port. But a lot of times, first-time cruisers don't even realize that they're pressed for time. So just laying it out there, think about your travel before and after the cruise, and maybe you won't fall victim to some bad circumstance.
Yeah. All right, Tony, what is the number 4 mistake that first-time cruisers make?
All right, guys, the number 4 mistake that first-time cruisers make is you forget to bring some cash with you. Cruising is basically a cashless proposition. You can secure your ship account with a debit card or a credit card or a gift card. And some folks do it with cash, but those who don't, remember, you got to bring some money to tip. Even when you first get to the cruise terminal, there's somebody handling your bag that needs a tip. When you go out to port, people out on the street need a tip. And sometimes if you get exceptional service on the ship, you need a tip. And another reason to use cash, and one of the reasons we like to use cash, is in the casino. If you use your sail and sign card to gamble with, you can rack up a pretty huge bill. And so the way we budget our gambling is to budget with cash. And so as a first-time new cruiser, you may hear that you don't need any cash on the cruise ship, but you need some cash.
Definitely.
All right, Jenny, what's the number 5 mistake that first-time cruisers make?
They don't know all the rules on the cruise.
There's rules on the cruise.
There is rules to follow.
What kind of rules?
So each cruise line does provide on their websites prohibited items to bring on the ship. So, like for instance, if you're checking in, embarking on the ship, and you bring a clothes iron, they're going to confiscate it. They're going to take it away.
Well, I could take my clothes iron like at a hotel. I can't do it on a cruise ship?
No. No, and no like candles and all sorts of things. So definitely check the cruise line websites for prohibited items.
They're pretty much sticklers about that. So there's a lot of rules and regulations. You sign a contract. I know most of the time in life we just sign our names. We don't read it all, but you want to on the cruising because you don't want to be up there and them take away half of your cool stuff that's in your bag that you weren't supposed to have with you.
All right, Tony. What is the number 6 mistake that first-time cruisers make?
Okay, so we're going to transition now from what happens before you cruise to what's happening during your cruise, and this one kind of straddles the fence.
Okay.
You don't want to forget about gratuities. So when you book your cruise, or even all the way up to before you go on your cruise, you can go on the cruise website and prepay your gratuities. But if you do not do that on the final day of your cruise, your sailing account will be hit with those gratuity charges.
Right.
And if you forgot about them, if you didn't prepay them, that could be a surprise.
Yes, it
You
can.
could find a couple $100 extra on your cruise bill that you weren't expecting. And, first-time cruisers, you can get caught up in the excitement of the casino and all the cool stuff that you could buy at port and you can buy on the ship. And then on the last day, you might be tapped out. And all of a sudden, you got a couple extra $100 charge on your sail and sign account. So, again, I would put that in the category of things to prepay. But if you don't, you can't forget about them.
That's right.
Jenny, what is the number 7 mistake that first-time cruisers often make?
Forgetting to put their cell phones in airplane mode. That could totally rack up a lot of money on your bill because of the roaming charges and data.
Yeah, they don't put their cell phone in airplane mode. We made a video about that. I'll make it pop up here above the screen or down in the description. Really kind of breaks down what you need to do with your cell phone on a cruise ship. The main thing that you want to know is you want to turn off your cell signal. That's where all the money happens. That's where all the roaming happens. You will need to use your Wi-Fi to connect to the ship's Wi-Fi and get some of the free services that they offer. But you got to turn that cell phone off. And don't even turn it on in a port unless you're like back in the States or something like that because that can hit you with the roaming also.
Absolutely. All right, Tony. What is the number 8 mistake that new cruises make?
Jenny, they don't take the muster drill seriously. So if you're a new cruiser getting ready to go on your first cruise, you will experience this thing that you've probably never experienced anywhere else before called the muster drill. M-U-S-T-E-R. It's a word that means together at a certain point. And so the muster drill on a cruise ship is actually where they bring you all together at the point that you'll go to in case of an emergency, and they will tell you what to do in the event of an emergency.
Right.
Now, what we've seen many times is people that are first-time cruisers, they don't really take it that seriously. And so the call for muster will happen, and cruise people, like the people that work on the ship, will be tracking down people that have already had way too much to drink, or they're just in their room trying to take a nap. They don't care about the muster. What you don't understand is that everybody has to be accounted for before the ship can leave port. And so if you don't take the muster drill seriously, you might be missing out on information that could save your life in the event of an emergency. And if it's not even that serious, you could just be inconveniencing a lot of people that are taking the muster drill seriously. So first-time cruiser, be prepared for this thing called the muster drill. Treat it with the respect it deserves. Go learn how to be safe, and then enjoy your cruise vacation.
Right. And I'm glad that you did spell it out, M-U-S-T-E-R. because it's not musted, it's musta.
It sounds like mustard,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
that's another mistake.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
muster. All right, Jenny, what is the number 9 mistake that first-time cruisers make?
They forget to change their watch to ship time.
Ship time, who cares? My phone automatically sets the time. What are you even talking about?
No, you have to set it to ship time. You have to get one of those wind-up watches because your cell phone changes time from where you're at. So you don't want to miss the ship when you get off of it in port in, wherever you're going, whatever your destination is. Everything goes on ship time.
Yeah, I think we're so accustomed to our mobile phones always telling us the correct time in the correct time zone. Well, when it comes to cruising, the only time that matters is the time that the ship has.
That's right.
And it doesn't ever change. So yeah, get yourself a windy watch. Get yourself a battery-operated digital watch that doesn't have any kind of connection to the outside world. And set that thing to the same time as the ship. That way you don't find yourself running down the pier because your time changed.
That's right. All right, Tony. What is the number 10 mistake that new cruisers make?
All right, number 10 is the beginning of a two-parter about drinking. Don't drink too much while you're at the ports that you visit. A lot of the ports you'll visit have an all-inclusive beach and drink day where you can go to the beach. You can drink as many margaritas or rum drinks that you want. And the problem with that is you can drink too many and possibly miss the ship. And so just like you should be responsible anytime you're drinking, a lot of times new cruisers, they will drink too much at the port and have trouble getting back to the ship.
Yeah, those excursions that you pay for, all inclusive, they're kind of scary and you don't want to be a pier runner.
Don't want to be a pier runner. Mm-mm. Well, Jenny, related, what is, these are bonus, we're on to the bonus now. That was 10, now we're on to the bonus. Jenny, related, what is the number 11 mistake that first-time cruisers make?
They drink too much while they're on the ship.
Jenny, it sounds like I can't drink anywhere. What
No.
are you even talking about?
I mean, you could drink, but drink responsibly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you drink a little too much on the ship and you're acting a little crazy, they could put you in the jail.
That is true. There is a slammer on the cruise ship, and if you get out of line, they will put you in the hoosegow for drinking too much of the hooch. The first cruise that we went on, we did see a female passenger getting assisted back to their room. Apparently, she had passed out in the hallway and wasn't really sure where she was at, and that was super scary. And then also a lot of the overboard, most of the time you cannot go overboard on a cruise ship unless you willfully go yourself, or there's some contributing factor, and alcohol is often that contributing factor. The cool thing about a cruise ship is there's plenty of time to have fun and to party, but you got to know when to say when or have a buddy to make sure that you get back. So don't drink too much on the ship.
That's right. All right, Tony, what is the number 12, the bonus mistake that new cruisers make?
So I was completely guilty of this mistake on my first cruise. They overeat. Mm-hmm. You can go on a cruise ship and eat as much as you want, and it's no joke. You can eat as much as you want. The buffet is open for a good majority of the day. Specialty restaurants are open for a good majority of the day. Pizza's open 24 hours. Ice cream's open 24 hours. There's free room service for part of the day on some cruise lines. There's paid room service almost 24 hours on all the cruise lines. Anytime you get a hankering to eat anything, you can do it. And so I know I probably had first breakfast, second breakfast, third breakfast, a few lunches, and about 4 dinners before I did my snacking on the first cruise. And really, by the second or third day, I was a little sick.
Yeah.
My stomach was hurting, and so now I try to scale it back. But first-time cruisers, resist the urge, don't overeat, book yourself another cruise, and go eat again.
That's right.
Well, Jenny, those are 10 mistakes that are often made by first-time cruisers. Hope you guys got something out of that. We're excited for everybody that is going on their first cruise. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and maybe we can help you out on your first cruise. And how about some that we missed? Obviously this list isn't exhaustive. So yeah, what are some mistakes that we maybe have not covered? Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jenny? We're going to be first-time cruisers again coming up on a new cruise line.
We are.
So I'm excited to see what it's like to go on the Princess Cruise Line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. Come join us over at the Lido Loca Cruising community on Facebook. All of our information is down in the description below for social media. And again, my name's Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca. And until the next time,
we'll see you on the Lido.
We'll see you on the Lido.
Bye.
Bye.